Hello guys, today I'm going to be giving you guys a complete strategy guide to Scorchers. Our YouTube channel name is Extreme Boomers, but other than that we go by Boom Beats attack strategies, and I've probably been slacking from that a little, so I figured I would jump on and give you some attacks and kind of show you. Now, before, we used to make videos like this, guides, where we just tell you a bunch of stuff, but what I'm going to be doing in this one is showing you a bunch of different bases I attacked with different scenarios and tell you how to beat it and give you hints along the way. So, it's like a gameplay video. I shared a bunch of attacks in this random task force, so we're just going to go through them one by one and kind of show you what I've done. So, okay, first, I just need to say there's buildings where I'll explain on my base. There's buildings that are bad to Scorchers, and there's buildings that don't really matter to Scorchers, and then there's buildings that you need to take out with artillery or keep shocked or keep critters on it. Usually Usually prototypes are bad. Shock blasters for level 1 or tier 1 troops or prototype defenses, you don't need to worry about using these types of strategies, but for like tier 2 and 3, you need to take them out ahead of time or keep them shocked. So yes, all you need to worry about are doom cannons and shock blasters. Now, if the person you're attacking does not have either of those, then shock launchers and boom cannons are the biggest threat next. Now, shock launchers will freeze your major firepower, so your major firepower isn't going to be able to fire, and boom cannons will just help take them down, help take your Scorchers down. Boom cannons aren't that big of an issue, but close to the end of the raid, like I'll show you guys in a minute, the boom cannons will do some damage, so just keep that in mind. I always take down the prototypes first, and then, or keep them shocked, and then I take down the shock launchers, and then I focus on the doom cannons, or boom cannons, So, we're going to jump into the first base here. This base is an up to down base, which means the HQ is in the back, and the base goes down, and it doesn't fill out the side of the map. Now, what I didn't explain, guys, is you can do a reflare. I need to retreat here because I want to explain something at the start of the raid also. You can go around the base like this, but I don't normally do that. I usually just go straight up, and that's why I get so many losses. So what you don't want to do is you don't want to spread out your Scorchers on the beach. You want to always put them in one spot, let them walk up through the base. That's like, Scorchers are very weak on their own, and then in clumps they're very, very strong, and you'll see that they don't work well with high amounts of HP health boost or something like that. So if a guy has his HP boosted, you're not going to be able to clear him without any losses, chances are, unless he has a really bad base design. So as you see here, guys, I'm taking out this doom cannon in the back. I don't know if this is a level 1 or not, but I'm still taking that out just to be sure. This strategy, I forgot to mention, is the best strategy for clearing your map. You'll be able to beat a ton of bases without any losses, and if you only had one power powder to boost, I would definitely boost your Gumbo energy. It's definitely the most. If you have 2, then boost the Gumbo energy and health, and then 3, you boost the Gumbo energy, health, and the damage statues. So as you see here, I'm just clearing the base. Now, if a troop is getting very low on health, like this time that troop, that Scorcher, and the Scorcher back here are kind of low, but not very low. But if they are like very, very, very low, and you're not going to be able to you'll see a little later, you just want to put smoke on them. It's a lot better to transform or transcend that power over into another Scorcher instead. So this base is a front-loaded base, which means all the defenses are on the front of the base. As soon as you enter the base, your Scorchers are going to be getting hit. These are probably the hardest bases to attack, because the defenses aren't spread out. But this base also has a major flaw, being that there are so many defenses in a small area. One shot could take down a lot. Now, as you see here, I'm taking down boom cannons in the back. Now, if you take down all the boom cannons at a time, shock launchers are not going to be an issue. They kind of work together. They kind of, one helps the other, so the shock launcher will shock, and then the other one will to just destroy you. So you just want to be wary of that if you don't have enough energy to take one down. If there's no shock launcher around, definitely take down the boom cannon. So you just have to learn the AI of the Scorchers, learn where they're going to go next, and it's going to take you a little while, but after a while, you're going to get the hang of it. So this guy is Xance, and he has a base that's in a middle base, and everything is around it. He has a prototype, and I'll show you with damage amplifiers. They're not as bad as they look. They're not that bad at all. They're actually very, very, very easy to take out. Now, as you see here, this guy also has a health boost, so chances are it's gonna be a lot harder for me to take this out. So I'm going to be doing something a little different here. I usually don't flare to the side of Scorchers, but on this base I did to avoid all this fire over here. And that's something you just got to play with. On these bases you want to do that. I wouldn't do that on up to down bases, or for right to left bases, I guess. But yes, or corner bases. But with this type of base, I guess you could do it. I'm just kind of saving the health of my troops by doing that. Okay, so as you see here, I'm not focusing on that shock launcher because there's not a boom cannon around the general area of it. And I'm focusing on these ones, these boom cannons, I'm sorry, back here. And as you saw there, the damage amplifier did literally nothing against this attack. So that was a success. And now my troops are just going to be going everywhere. I'm just going to speed it up because there's pretty much nothing left. And we're just going to take out a shield generator, and then it's going to be a victory for us. Shield generators are not an issue. Okay, so here's next guy, John. We're going to be showing you a replay of John. He does have a boom cannon on the front of his base. Those are always very, very hard, so you need to make sure you have enough energy to shock it or something. And what's weird here is I never even saw that at the beginning, but then I saw it like right there. So I would have been artillerying that instead. But I artilleried the shock launcher instead. But you'd want to do the doom cannon next time. Okay, so I'm just moving up into the base. Although these level 15 boom cannons do look a little more beefy and deadly, it's not going to be an issue for you. Also, take advantage of critters. Critters are your best friend against doom cannons. And try to place your critter boxes. They need to be closer to the doom cannon than your Scorchers, but also try to keep them out of range of machine guns and flame, or they will just go down and it's going to be pretty much useless. Other than that, you could use shocks or something. And as you see all here, it was another victory for me. Now keep in mind that these are max Scorchers. Your Scorchers are not going to be this beefy or strong. But anyway, guys, this is the level 623 base. It's a corner base that goes down, so it's a corner up to down base, or just an up to down base. He has a shock blaster on the front of his base. Now, I had boosted Gumbo energy, and that allowed me to start to raid off after I deployed all my troops with like 11 or 19 energy. I think it was 11 energy. So that allowed me just to get a shock, and that's always nice when you can land and have a shock. But if you can't land and have a shock, there's two things you could do. One, probably don't use Scorchers, or two, just try to land them a little more strategically. But I see a lot of people like spreading out the Scorchers on the beach. I'm just going to stray away from that for a little bit for combat. I see a lot of people straying the Scorchers over place, one over here, one here, one here, one here, one here, and that's just not what you want to do. Like I said before, you need to keep your Scorchers in clumps, and against high HP, it's not going to work. So if you're like very high in victory points, I'm guessing like 1200 and up, the strategy probably won't work, because all those players at the top are going to be having health boosts. And even now, I still have to find new opponents. I can't just clear my entire map, so I could clear about all but 2 bases on my map without losing any Scorchers. And you'll get a little more reckless as time goes on. You get a little more risky on the edge, but just always start out safe and get worse and worse and worse from there. Okay. I'm not going to be going through all these replays, don't worry. This is the corner base. Also, I'm just trying to show you a wide variety. Now, this guy actually has 2 shock blasters, and you'll see a lot of people have 2, maybe like a doom cannon and a damage amplifier. And the bottom line is, don't worry about doom cannons and damage amplifiers. Just keep it shocked. If you can't keep it shocked, if you don't have enough energy, probably don't try to take the base on, because that thing will pretty much 2-shot your Scorchers. Now, also, I'm not teaching you like strategy. I'm teaching you strategies that don't, like, bases that don't have high HPs. I haven't had too much experience with high HP bases, but for these little bases, I'm just trying to teach you strategies that will keep your Scorchers alive, because that's the main thing about map clearing. You just got to keep your Scorchers alive. So this is what I was talking about. When the Scorcher starts getting low or targeted by one specific defense that does high amounts of DPS, just put a smoke on it. It's not that big of a deal. You could you can move all that DPS over to a Scorcher like that, who has a green bar or even a yellow bar, or yeah, like that bar, and that will allow the Scorcher that's being hit to kind of stay out of damage range or something like that, or stay out of range or something. So that's always a good idea to do that. Just try to keep them out of the line of fire. Now, there were some weird bases I wanted to show you, but I need to keep this video shorter than usual, so I'm just going to do a ×4 speed, and we're just going to see how this works. As you see here, I keep the Shock Blaster shocked. It's always a good idea to weaken defenses with Scorchers. If you do not weaken defenses, it's just going to take a while, and you'll see from, like, look at this. Usually prototypes will do this. They'll run away from them before they finish burning, and then they'll have to come back and give another fire burst, and you'll see a lot of that, so just be aware of that. That usually happens with shock blasts and doom cannons, and that could really be a game turner. That could kill a lot of troops if those buildings see they'll leave the building and then they'll go do something else, and then they'll have to come back and finish it off. So what I want you guys to do is just place a couple artillery on it. It's okay if you overpower it. It's worth keeping one Scorcher alive. So we'll do 2 more attacks and then I'll end the video. This guy is a base you'll see a lot of also, although this dude is very, very, very weak. You could still beat this base easy. I'm just going to speed it up. Again, laser beams are not going to be any issue at all. Laser beams are such trash against this strategy. And as you'll see here, it's just another victory. These types of bases are kind of probably the easiest, those bases, because you just go straight up into the base. And here's the last one. This guy's a level 62, so he does have higher level defenses. And this is one of the harder bases you'll get to. Now, you could always flank this side, go around the base. I just told you guys that earlier, but I don't never do that. So, yeah, you guys can do that if you want. I just never do that for some reason. I don't know why. I just don't like flanking around bases. I like just clearing the entire base. So, as you see here, I'm just trying to keep that Doom Cannon shocked, but the shock wore off. I no longer had enough for a shock, so I placed a critter box. It's going to absorb damage, but that time it didn't absorb any. But critters also do damage on the building, on the Pacific building, not like Scorchers will run away. Critters will stay on the building. They have a fixed building, and they'll stay on it till it blows. So that's nice about critters. You could always use critters to finish off buildings. We'll put it on ×2. As you see here, I'm starting to get, like, I think I lost a troop on this, but not this one right there. If a troop is very, very low, I will always place a couple med kits on it. That's always nice. So instead of these boom cannons shooting at this tank, so this Scorcher, and kill it, they shoot at the ones around it. But you'll see here that this Scorcher right there is going to die from that boom cannon, and which stinks because you're trying to clear your map without any losses. So I would also kind of hold the hardest bases off to the very end, because at the end of a map clear, you don't have, you probably did your upgrade earlier. At the end of a map clear, you don't really care if a Scorcher died or not. But yes, that's all for the Scorcher tips, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, be sure to drop a like as always. I will talk to you guys in the next one. Bye.